last week, UCLA won its first bowl game since 2015, the LA Bowl against Boise State. And prior to that contest, Chip Kelly met with the media. We haven't discussed this yet because there was so much to talk about coming off of the weekend of football and then obviously the Monday night game as well. So here's Chip Kelly being asked about the state of college football and what could be changed and how he envisions a better pathway forward. And it was like a lightning shot. Check it out.
What is the biggest issue that you might have right now, whether it be realignment, NIL, transfer portal, and what would your plan maybe be to try to solve it?
I think they're all a problem, and I think we need to have a conference commissioner. I think football should be separate from the other sports. Just the fact that our school is leaving to go to the Big Ten in football, our softball team should be playing Arizona in softball. Our basketball team should be playing Arizona in basketball. But because football left, and they're saying, well, how do you do that? Well, Notre Dame's independent in football, and they're in a conference and everything else. I think we should all be independent in football. And you can have a 64-team conference that's in the Power Five, and you can have a 64-team conference in the Group of Five. And we separate it, and we play each other. You can have the West Coast teams, and then every year we play 7 games against the West Coast teams, and then we play the East. So we play Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia. Then the next year you play against the South while you still play your 7 teams. You can play a 7-game schedule. You can play 4 against another conference, another division opponent, and you can always play against one Mountain West team every year so that we can still keep those rivalries going. Not that I've really thought about this. Not that I've a lot of spent of time on this. But I think if you went together collectively as a group and said there's 132 teams and we all share in the same we all share the same TV contract, so that the Mountain West doesn't have one and the Sun Belt doesn't have another and SEC has one and they have another, that we all go together, that's a lot of games, and there's a lot of people in the TV world that would go through it. You can sponsor each one. Instead of calling it Group of 5 and Power 5, you can call it Amazon, Nike, bid that out to things. You do a lot of different things. But I think if we still do the same thing and take all that money, and I would do this, and I think this needs to be done, that money now needs to be shared with the student athletes, and there needs to be revenue sharing. The players should get paid, and you can get rid of NLI, and the schools should be paying the players because the players are what the product is. And the fact that they don't get paid is really the biggest travesty. Not that I've thought about it.
I mean,
what did he say? What did he say? That's not right.
It's so beautiful.
That's dead on.
It's so beautiful. 2 things. First of all, when you say you want to pay the players, Chip, be careful. You're part of the Big Ten now. Last time that happened, everybody ganged up on one coach who said that, and then they all start bitching at the commissioner, and poof. That's what Jim said, and all of a sudden cheeseburgers start showing up, huh? So just want to say that. I cape in first before I will say this. When the Super League, what year was that? I gotta start remembering this off the top of my head. Was it 2021?
It was pandemic,
right? It's 2021 or 2020, where a bunch of Premier League sides and some other big time
April 20
sides in European soccer.
It was April 18th of 2021, and then I think by April
20th it was done.
It was over.
Right. It lasted about as long as Bill Belichick's tenure as the head coach of the New York Jets. Yeah. Because fans were like, "Yeah, we're not doing this. We're not blowing up tradition and changing the way that we play football and relegation and stuff like that. You're not taking your soccer ball and going home. We're the fans. You're staying put," and that actually got blown up. And at the time, I said, what's the one sport in the United States where that can happen and it makes sense and it's going to happen if the way things we're seeing goes the way that they're still going? College football. And what Chip Kelly just said, that is the NFL structure. Instead of the AFC East and the AFC South and the AFC North, you have a bunch of teams that used to be in the Pac-12, and you got a bunch of teams that used to be in the Big 12, or some that are currently in the Big 12, and some that are currently in the Big 10, some that are currently in the ACC, and some that were formerly in other conferences that broke up because they couldn't keep up with the same pace of revenue. And why not take football out of athletic departments as the rest of college athletics is constructed. Why not? He's right. What are you going to take all the so-called Olympic sports and shuttle people from the West to the East Coast? Is that what's going to happen? Just because football decides to leave. If the one aspect of what Kelly said that was like, oh my God, that's brilliant, is we're all waiting for when is Notre Dame going to join a conference and totally switch up the way everyone views everything. Right? When is Notre Dame going to say we'll join the Big Ten, or we'll just actually make it official? All those ACC teams that we play on our schedule will just join the ACC, which is definitely not going to happen because Florida State's already sitting there saying maybe we should leave because that's part of the reason maybe why we're not in the college football playoff. If we were an SEC team, we'd be in. So instead of saying when's Notre Dame going to leave, how about everybody just becomes Notre Dame? Under the construct of an actual setup that has a commissioner, and it's all like-minded, revenue-generating programs that have the same issues with name, image, and likeness and transfer portal and everything else, and everybody makes their own rules under that construct and plays football. And the schedule is simple. You play everyone in your division, and just like the AFC East rotates between playing teams in the South and North and West in the conference and plays in a rotational basis a division in the NFC right now, you rotate, like you said. So all the teams that just bolted for the Big Ten and the Big 12 out of the and the ACC, I guess, because Stanford and Cal's like, we'll just become a different coast. I mean, we're the PCCs of the ACC, you know. Instead of that, just put them all in one division or two divisions and have them play each other every now and then to keep the rivalries going, and have a part of your schedule that is also sort of an omnibus, a wild card in the schedule that rotates as well to keep natural rivalries going. And then we come up with our own rules for NIL and transfer portal and start paying players. Brilliant. Why not?
Yeah.
The only reason why not? And I love how he's saying, we'll call this Amazon, we'll bid it out to this, that, the other, because you got to have the TV partners. Without the TV money, This all means nothing. Mm-hmm. And you've got to cater to those TV money people because they're the ones who, it appears, put their thumb on the scale as to who makes the college football playoff or not. Not by literally saying you will choose this team, but we're the ones putting the bag on the table. And we're the ones who want that matchup on January 1st. Way to go, Chip Kelly. You got to get him in here. I want more.
Great idea.
I want more. I want to hear more.
Not that he's thought about it at all.
Yeah. I love that. Not that he's thought about it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.